Hello? Today's talk dives into the psychological root of comparison. If you're interested in self-reflection and leadership in organizations, this is for you. Want weekly insights on classical philosophy and psychology that strengthen the mind? Subscribe now. You'll discover powerful content to guide you through life and leadership. Lecture Leadership begins when you share honor. We all live within organizations and communities, and we've all felt this at some point. Why don't I get recognition even though I worked hard? Why is it okay for that person to take all the credit? Today's ancient quote offers timeless insight into this emotional experience. 文明媒介不以度人分泄于人，可以辕害全身；如航无名不以全推，因些诡计可以韬光养德。Perfect honor and noble virtue should not be born alone. Share even a little, and you can avoid harm and protect yourself. In contrast, disgrace and shame should not be entirely shifted to others. Accepting part of the blame allows you to hide your light and cultivate virtue. Why do we feel threatened by others' success? Two main psychological reasons. One, social comparison theory. Humans constantly compare themselves to others, especially in achievement-based systems. In such settings, someone else's success may feel like your failure. This is self-threat, and it shakes your self-esteem and breeds envy. Two, external locus of control. People with this mindset believe outcomes depend on luck, others, or external factors. That's why someone else's achievement feels like a personal threat. Comparison becomes competition, and competition fuels anxiety. Where does this comparison mindset come from? Academic ranking culture, we were trained to ask, what's my rank, more than who am I? Corporate metrics, KPI, and numbers turn colleagues into competitors. Comparative parenting. That kid already got a job. These words shape how we see ourselves. Eventually, we internalize the belief, my worth being ahead of others. Let's clarify. People who constantly compare aren't necessarily lacking self-esteem, but they have unstable self-worth. They feel inflated when ahead and crushed when behind. Their identity is built on others' validation, not inner values. We must ask, what standard am I using to evaluate myself? What direction am I choosing apart from comparison? What happens when someone monopolizes honor? It creates threat. If one person takes all the credit in a group project, others feel disrespected and disengaged. It kills collaboration. When one shines alone, others become shadows. Psychological safety collapses and trust in the group weakens. The solution? As the ancient quote says, the more honor is shared, the more virtue it creates. The more responsibility is embraced, the stronger the character becomes. Try this at work or school. This success isn't mine alone, it's thanks to my teammates. Such small words build big trust. Shared credit leads to future support, admiration, not resentment. In education, team-based learning. In classrooms, when professors guide peer-to-peer learning, instead of top-down teaching, students build deeper understanding and autonomy. Classics like the quote above support this view. Do not shoulder honor alone, share it to preserve the whole. What happens when collaboration fails in team-based learning? Let me ask you, what happens when collaboration breaks down in team-based learning? First, students begin to feel isolated and worse, treated unfairly. You'll hear thoughts like, why am I working so hard? While someone else contributes nothing and still gets the same grade? This sense of unfairness quickly leads to a drop in motivation and a rise in anxiety. The learning process turns into a stressful task. Instead of an enriching experience, then time is wasted and the opportunity for real learning is lost. The assignment may get submitted, but the depth of understanding? Gone. Eventually, grading becomes imbalanced and trust among team members erodes. This doesn't just affect individuals, it shakes the foundation of the learning environment itself. So, what should educators do? Educators must go beyond assigning a team project. They need to actively structure the experience. Clarify goals and roles. Don't just say, do a group project. Define who's responsible for what, like a leader for coordination, a recorder for documentation, and a presenter for delivery. Be strategic in team formation. Mix students with different strengths and personalities. to create balanced, diverse groups. Guide teams to set their own ground rules. Defrino. For example, all voices are respected. Meetings won't exceed 1 hour. Simple rules foster shared accountability. Assess both the process and the outcome. Don't just grade the final product. Include individual contributions, teamwork behavior, and peer feedback. In the evaluation, check in regularly. Ask questions like, "Here he is sobrang How's the group doing? Are there any conflicts you need help resolving?" Be a facilitator, not just a supervisor. Teach basic collaboration skills. Many students have never worked in true teams. Offer short guidance on communication, task division, and conflict resolution. And most importantly, create psychological safety. Students must feel free to share ideas and make mistakes without fear. That's where true learning and real collaboration begins. When educators take on these roles, team-based learning becomes more than a project. It becomes a space to develop responsibility, autonomy, and cooperation skills we all need beyond the classroom. For more insights on classical wisdom, leadership, and educational psychology, and subscribe. In summary, whether in schools, corporations, or public institutions, when others' success feels like a threat, resentment and envy grow. But the classics remind us, true excellence must be shared. Only then can leadership arise without conflict. For more deep insights into classical texts and organizational psychology, subscribe now. The language of refined thinking awaits to elevate your life and leadership.